Hello, good afternoon. My name is Joseph Atta, and I'm live from Ghana, West Africa. You're welcome to my page. Sorry, Mining for the Truth. Mining for the Truth. And it is a process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. Mining for the truth is digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. Now, the purpose of the page, to share the word, John 1 verse 1, and Genesis 1 verse 1. 2, to share the truth, John 17:32, John 8:32, John 14 verse 6. I attend Church of Christ. And you are welcome to my sermon. Today will be sermon. Sorry, now I have to apologize. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you so much. Someone called, and then my microphone was off during the, I think, last 5 minutes of the studies. So my microphone was off. So therefore, I have deleted the first video. So what I'm coming to do now, I've done it earlier, but I had to delete it because the last part was off. So listeners will not hear anything. I'm so sorry that the first video has to be deleted. Those who were watching, one was from Ghana, one was from Australia. I'm sorry that you wasted your time and then your data, money on it. I'm sorry. Okay, so as I said, I'm down with the teachings from Ephesians 5 verse 15 to 17. We discussed about Absalom, Samson, King Solomon, and then Dinah. So today, and even the week, we'll be doing sermons upon sermons. And I will alert you when I'm going to start my next teachings again. Once again, I apologize for being late. The time is supposed to be 10 to 1 p.m., but now it is 1:27. I'm sorry, there was some kind of inconvenience. I'm so sorry. Okay, so having said that, I welcome you to my page. I've seen that one person is watching. Thank you so much, sister, for making it your priority. That whenever I'm online, you'll be watching. And I greet all those at UMAT. Enu Theophilus, I greet you. And thank you for the encouragement. He was the first person to call me on my first sermon, the first thing I put here. God first. Matthew 6:33. He was the first person to call. He encouraged me so much. And I love that. Even though you are offline, but I'm trying to say hi. All right. So back to what we are going to do today. It is a sermon. And the title is Remember Now Thy Creator. Remember now thy Creator. And the text is Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1. I will read. Of course, I'm going to do the exegesis of the text later. But not all are having their Bibles. Some are somewhere watching, or you may be somewhere watching later. And you might not have Bible with you. So I will read, and then later, as I said, I will do the interpretation. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1. I'm reading from the ESV version. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near, of which you will say, I have no pleasure. I repeat. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near, of which you will say, I have no pleasure. No, normally, when we are at a church or anywhere, and this is cited, normally it means they're going to hammer on the youth. I'm sorry. They are going to hammer on the youth, on the fact that they are being lazy. So today you will know whether the youth here is referring to some specific age, maybe from 18 to 25 years, or has no age limitation. All right, so let's start with the introduction. My introduction, the first part starts with a question. Whom are you serving now? Why you still have the strength? whom are you serving now while you are still young and have the strength? Whom are you serving now? Is it football matches? I mean, what have you dedicated your youth for? What have you dedicated your youth to? Football matches, womanizing, manizing, betting, money making, work, partying, music, Illuminati, social media, or television. I want to know what you have dedicated your youth for, or your youth to. Marriage, because you are married, so you have no time for God again, because it is said in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 34, that the married will continuously impress the partner. So because of marriage, you have no time for God. And normally when people marry, then they think that they are done with God's work. So is it marriage, betting, it could be gambling, watching TV, following artists, musical artists, and movie artists? What have you dedicated your youth to? Now we continue with the introduction by saying that if your time has been dedicated to all what I have mentioned, then you are what you call Satan's mannequin. You are Satan's mannequin. Now what is a mannequin? A mannequin is a dummy used for advertisement. A mannequin is a dummy, D-U-M-M-Y, used for advertisement. So if you go to the boutique, the toys that you see them there wearing some shirt and others, you call them mannequin or mannequins. So a dummy used for advertisement. Now let's come to human beings. When we say a dummy, we are making reference to an ignorant or stupid person. Someone who is ignorant is called dummy, and someone who is stupid is also called dummy. Now the word stupid here means lacking intelligence. That's why at times you are asked, are you stupid? Don't be stupid. It is a question. It means what you are doing, are you adding wisdom or not? So a dummy is an ignorant person or stupid person. Now why am I saying this? That if you are watching TV and others, then you are Satan's mannequin. Yes, because Satan has chosen you to manifest his evil work on earth. And why are you stupid? Because upon all what you are doing for Satan, watching TV, betting, joining Freemason, womanizing, manizing, drinking alcohol, at the end of your service to Satan, he grants you hell. So it is a cheat that you are living for Satan, and at the end, he grants you hell. Once again, you are stupid because God created you. You're supposed to function for God than Satan. We were all created by God. So why should I live to impress Satan? Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. While you are in Philippians 2 verse 12. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. While you are young. B of my introduction. Let's go to Romans 6 verse 16 before I will even elaborate on my point B. We are still on the introduction. I prefer to do a vivid introduction so that at least listeners or learners will have a general overview of all what I'm going to say. And that's how we teach. So if you're a good teacher, we should see in your introduction. I mean, you can't spend about 5-10 minutes cracking jokes. Then it means you have no purpose for your studies. Now, Romans 6 verse 16. Do you not know that to whom you present yourselves as born servants to obey, his born servants you are whom you obey, whether of sin to death or obedience to righteousness? So whom are you serving? So we're saying that every accountable young person must decide to either be a servant of sin or a servant of righteousness. So either you serve Satan and then you sin, or you follow God and be righteous. That's all. The two are opposite. Do not delay while you are young in remembering the Lord by becoming a child of God while you still have the time, opportunity, and desire. Do not delay while you are young in remembering the Lord by becoming a child of God while you still have the time, opportunity, and desire. The young have no physical problems. Yes, it's clear. The young have no physical problems. It is a period where our body mechanisms work perfectly. It is also a period of agility, agile, and locomotion. When we say locomotion, it means a movement of something. So locomoting easily. So it's a period of agility and locomoting easily. We must utilize this opportunity before our bodies betray us. So it is in this time that we should stand and defend or contend earnestly for the faith, which was once and for all delivered to the saints. No new doctrine. Only in youth can we evangelize and win more souls for Christ and function effectively to the glory of the Lord. To the glory of the Lord. Point C, Solomon. Now, let's go to 2 Kings 2 verse 3. And advice that David gave to his son before he died. Meanwhile, King Solomon thought that his father was wasting his time. So 2 Kings 2 verse 2 to 3. Now let's see what is there. 2 verse 3. 2 Kings 2 verse 3. Sorry, 1 Kings, I'm sorry. 1 Kings 2 verse 3. I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm there. I am about to go the way of the earth. Be strong and show yourself a man. And keep the charge of the Lord. Verse 3, sorry. And keep the charge of the Lord, your God, walking in his ways and keeping his statutes, his commandments, his rules, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that you may prosper in all that you do and wherever you turn. Show yourself a man. So Solomon learned hard lessons and had many regrets for not listening to his father's dying words of wisdom. We are aware that when someone is about to die, they normally leave inheritance. The inheritance could be a property, but this was an advice. David was implying that King Solomon keeps God's commandments and function for him, dedicating all his time, energy, resources only to the Lord. So Solomon was to exist for the Lord. Show yourself a man means exist and function to the glory of the Lord. Show yourself a man. If you go to the 1 Kings 2 verse 3, show yourself a man. Now, who was speaking? The book was written by King Solomon when it was around 935 BC. Now, situation, an autobiography that includes all the frustrations of life. Why? Or the purpose of the book? Or why did he write the book? To find the meaning of life. Then, point 5, to whom? The future generations, you and I. Point 6, application to us, to teach us about the importance of wisdom and contentment. That's all. The importance of wisdom and contentment. Now, we are on A, definition of youth. I'll give you two definitions. 1, it refers to any person with exuberance and aggressiveness to work. It refers to anyone or a person with exuberance and aggressiveness to work. 2, it also refers to anyone who has the strength to work for the Lord. So these 2 definitions mean that it has no age limit. So youth has no age limit. So those of you who define youth, maybe from ages of this and that, you are wrong, because we have no youth in the Bible. Let's say I am 18 years and my father is 90 years. If he can work for the Lord, he's still a youth. So youth in Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1 has no age limit. That's why we are saying that digging to discover the undiluted. So the mining, if you want to find gold, you dig deeper before you find it. There's no way I'll come online to pollute anyone. No. So the 2 ages, the 2 definitions they have proved that there's no age limitation when we are considering youth. And now note this from what we have said. A youth is someone who prefers doing God's work outside the church than being post-conscious, fighting for positions in the church in order to compete with the aged. Now we're saying that if you go to many churches, including my own church, I said I attend Church of Christ, including my own church, the youth today are fighting for position. They have become extremely indolent. They don't want to say the Bible, and rather they glorify themselves on the pulpit or the podium. So when they're given appointments, then their pride will now arise. So it means that if you don't stand by the podium to preach, then you are none in the church. You don't go to church for appointments officially, and you don't go to church for positions. Now let me take you to the military field. New recruits, people or the new recruited military. Once they are recruited, they choose an officer to imitate that, oh, I want to become like this officer in future, right from the day of their recruitment. And when these officers are seated, you see, they are all having badges. We call it badges of honor. And when they are tell you a story, it means they had gone for peacekeeping, for work, this, and they merited them. The badges of honor were not given to them for fun by sitting at the office so lazily. No, they worked, they labored, they toiled for it. So here we're saying that most youths, even in my church, are fighting the pulpit with the veterans. Now, when I say the veteran, I mean people, let's say now church leaders or the church leaders, they have done God's work maybe before you were even born. They have done numerous work for God. Planting churches, baptizing some members, doing door-to-door evangelism, going for don't preaching, a whole lot of work. So now I see that the pulpit is meant for pensioners. When I say pensioners, I mean the veterans, our members who are older and have done God's work when they were baptized. They are meant for the pulpit. So as you see me, I don't see myself that I should be called upon to come to preach in my church. I see myself that I should be starting from the outside. Now, if you're a boxer, any boxer wants to go out. I'm international. So you can't tell me that you are a boxer and you are in your room. It's wrong. It means you are fearful. If you are a good boxer, go out there to explore. Because the youth nowadays don't study the Bible. Precisely from ages of 18 years to somewhere 45 years. They don't study the Bible. And because of that, they fear to go out to teach. Because when they go, they're going to question them. But in the olden days, we the youth are to go out to preach. And in case we face challenges in terms of questions, then we come back or we return to consult the oracle. The oracle is referring to the elders, the pioneers, to give us the clue, to teach us. Then we will go and then defend ourselves. Now all these things have died. And the youth are rather interested in posts. want to sit in the same office with the elders. I say if you go to military, you the new recruit, you cannot go and sit amidst your superiors because all the badges that they are having, they came with honor. So my question is that you, the youth in the church, who are so lazy, seated amidst your elders or even your fathers, where is your badge of honor? You have no badge. You have done nothing for the Lord. You are just a new recruit, free from the laziness. Go out there to explore. Then in future, we can also call you a veteran. Now, point B, why must a young person decide to remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth? Why should you remember God now? Why? So the heading is, remember now thy Creator. Why should you remember him now? So reason number 1, because it is a decision against the devil. It is a decision against the devil. Now the devil desires that one does not obey the gospel and begins to live for Christ during youth. When we say the gospel, we mean the death, burial, resurrection, and Christ's ascension to heaven. Normally, this is omitted. So, blindly, we have all copied the same thing: death, burial, and resurrection. That's not end there. His ascension to heaven is also part of it. So now there are 4, and not only 3, as traditionally we knew. So once you choose God now, it means you have decided against the devil. Point 2, you lost a citizenship in Satan's kingdom, hell. Now Colossians 1 verse 13. You lost a citizenship in Satan's kingdom. Colossians 1 verse 13. He has delivered us from the power of darkness, hell, or a Tartarus, and has transformed us into the kingdom of his dear son. Yes. So, once you choose God now, you have lost going to hell entirely. Yes, why and how will you go to hell? Because you have ceased to work for Satan as his mannequin, but rather you're going to function for God in your whole life. So whether you live or you die to the glory of the Lord. Simple. Now Satan will do whatever he can. We are still on point 2. We are trying to build the point. Satan will do whatever he can to persuade young people not to listen to the words of Christ. Now go to John 12 verse 48. John 12 verse 48. John 12 48. Very good, I'm there. He who rejects me and does not receive my words has one who judges him. The word that I have spoken, the same word will judge him in the last day. So Satan wants us to reject Christ. Then at the end, we are condemned into his kingdom. That's why we're saying that you lost citizenship in Satan's kingdom. Once you choose to worship God in your youth. Now, Satan does not want the youth to have a love for the Lord. Same John 14 verse 15. If you love me, you keep our commandments. So if you love God, you keep his commandments. You study his word at least once a day. At least once a day. Then you're showing love to your master. Now, if you can accomplish this, if he is able to persuade you not to follow Christ, not to listen to his word, to hate God, then no person will ever become a servant of God. Precisely when you grow old. So we're saying that the devil knows that as one gets older, the decision to obey God becomes more difficult. So if he captures you young, then he wins you forever. He destroys you. Take the spirit that he installed in you for the destruction and then give it to different person else. That's how normally a Satan works. So at times you see someone have become a drunkard, always seated by a drinking spot. Yes. Satan implanted in him the spirit of destruction. Now that he's done his work with the person, he takes away that spirit and gives it to another person again. Yes. So it means you have been captured once and for all. But we have a chosen God. So therefore, he has lost this headship over us forever and ever. If one decides not to begin to obey God during one's youth, the devil is so happy and his work in future is even easier. Now, this is not to say that all those who began by worshiping Satan will continue to do evil. And all those who start from Christian home, from Christian background, are forever going to be good. No. Sometimes it can be opposite. But we are saying that so far as you chose not to obey God, then the possibility of following Satan to the end is guaranteed. All right. Now, point 3. It directs one to be truly happy now and in the hereafter. Why you should follow God while you are young. Point 3. It directs one to be truly happy now and in the hereafter. Now, in the thinking of many today, true lasting happiness, not true happiness, true lasting happiness is found in money, in marriage, in education, in popularity, in power, fame, in possession, and in pleasure. But if you go to Ecclesiastes 1 verse 16, 2 verse 1 to 10, Solomon is saying that happiness is not found in these things. So happiness is not found in marriage, education, wealth, fame, power, pleasure, and possessions. No. He summed it up by saying, behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. Let's read this one. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 11. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 11. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 11. Okay. Then I considered all that my hands have done, and the toil I had expanded in doing it. And behold, all was vanity and a striving after wind, and there was nothing to be gained under the sun. Once again, I'm telling you that happiness is not found in material things. Happiness is not found in marriage. Of course, it is said in the book of Proverbs, whoever finds wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean to let you know that. Of course, very soon I will tell you, if you want to be happy, it is not found in marriage. Why? Because you'll be two partners. In fact, marriage naturally involves problems. So this is what you must know. I begin from the Garden of Eden. Adam was happy before Eve entered. Eve came and then distorted his life by bringing troubles. So marriage, number one, must involve troubles and misunderstanding. Now, if happiness is found in marriage, why from the cheating, from adultery, from the divorce, from the quarrel, and a whole lot? Happiness is not found in marriage. Now, if you are troubled by now, it means when you are married, you will still be troubled. And if you are troublesome by now and you marry, you continue, you're troublesome. So happiness is found not in marriage, education, material things, what you can buy. No. Now, fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 18. And go to Philippians 4 verse 4. Why I'm saying that happiness is not found in marriage. People have been misunderstanding me sometimes. Of course, money for the truth exists to face facts. Yes. James 4 verse 4. Philippians 4 verse 4. Sorry. I'm sorry. Philippians 4 verse 4. I'm sorry. Philippians 4. I'm so sorry. 4 verse 4. I want to read so that someone might not think I'm just guessing. Rejoice in the Lord always. And I say, rejoice. Happiness is found in the Lord. Joy and lasting true happiness. Joy and lasting true happiness are found in the Lord. This is what you have to know. Are found in the Lord. Not in marriage. You are not wiser than God. Anyway, no book being written by author should supersede the Bible. No. Here, we have seen it. Once you are in the Lord, you're going to rejoice always. Marriage is itself a trouble in nature. So don't sit down somewhere and think that now you are sad. You'll be happy when you marry. You are misleading yourself, or someone is misleading you. I'm saying that it was Eve who brought troubles to Adam. When Isaac married Rebekah, when they gave birth after 20 years to Jacob and Esau, now Isaac loved Esau. Then Rebekah chose Jacob. So they took sides, and this brought about hatred. We are also aware that Ananias and Sapphira, they all sinned and they all died. Marriage does not bring absolute happiness. This is what you must know. This is what the Bible is teaching. That happiness rather is found, long-lasting and everlasting happiness is found in the Lord. Philippians 4 verse 4. In the Lord. Though you'll be happy in marriage, but it is all compared to the happiness you found being in the Lord. Period. We continue. Now, see. We're now going to analyze, do some exegesis of Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1. So I'm going to exegete Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1. So see, the two ages. What are the two ages that I was talking about? So Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1 teaches us about the importance of recognizing or knowing God as a priority. It gives us two ages as follows. One is durable age. Now go to Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1a. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth. This is called durable age. So what is a durable age? It is a period to be able to resist wear and decay, endurance, capabilities, and long lasting. Of course, in engineering, we have a topic called blacksmithing or forging. And one advantage of forged artifacts, for example, chisel, is that it is durable. It means it lasts longer. So durable age is the first one. Being able to live, to resist wear and decay. You are able to endure. You have full potential, full capabilities, and then long lasting. Now, we're going to look at some biblical examples of durable age. First Samuel 17 verse 45 to 51. In fact, I will paraphrase it. When you have time, you read it. First Samuel 17 verse 45 to 51. Now, David was going to fight Goliath. Now, Goliath came in fully dressed, but David went only with a sling, and then stones. And Bible here is saying that he killed and cut off his head in the glory of the Lord. So his happiness rather was found in the Lord. He killed a Goliath as a youth. How many souls have you won for Christ? How many churches have you planted or helped to plant? That you are in the church bragging that you want position. How many churches have you planted? For the whole year. For the whole year. From January to December. How many souls have you won for your church? That you want to be called king? Or sit among the veterans? What have you done for Christ here? See what David did. As young as 17 years. Now, if you read about Goliath, he had been fighting all his life. So we don't even say soldier. He was a warrior. From infancy, he was so huge. I mean, giant. But David, by the grace of God, he was able to defeat him through a stone hitting his forehead. He died, and because of no cutlass, he took his own cutlass and cut off his head. To the glory of the Lord. B. Genesis 4 verse 4. Genesis 4 verse 4. 4 verse 4, yes, I'm there. Let me read then, I will explain. And Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock, of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering. Abel brought the firstborn of his flock and their fat portions. These are what you must note if you have the Bible. Firstborn, fat portions. Firstborn, fat portions. First. So for example, if I'm going to give some produce or something as a gift, you choose the best ones. That was what Abel did. And the Lord regarded his offering. God requires the first, which is the youth, which is the most durable. See of the examples of a durable age in the Bible. Now Solomon built. Now go to 2 Chronicles. 1 Chronicles, I mean. 1 Chronicles 22 verse 6. Let's see what they do for the Lord. First Chronicles 22 verse 6. Then he called for Solomon, his son, and charged him to build a house for the Lord, the God of Israel. So Solomon built a temple for God when he was in his durable age. Remember now, thy creator, in their youth. So durable age. Now the lesson here is that God values and respects our youthful services and cheerful giving. So if you are giving to the Lord, give cheerfully. The first is what you must choose, not the second. Firstborn fat portions were what Abel offered to the Lord. Now go to the second point. Miserable age. Now let's read here and see. So Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1b. Before the evil days come and the years draw near, of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. This is called miserable age. I have no pleasures in them. I will even have to repeat it. Before the evil days come and the years draw near, of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. When we say evil days, we mean when you are aging. When you are aging. That is reference to the evil days. Now go to Genesis. Miserable age, we have to define before you come to Genesis. But you can open to Genesis 4, verse 3 and 5. I will come there. But when we say miserable age, it is an age which refers to deterioration. To deteriorate, becoming inferior in quality, inefficiency, and competency. So as you are aging, Now, as I'm sitting here, I'm not saying I'm so wise, but I'm not sure a man being 100 years can come and then sit, learn, preach the way I'm preaching. At least I'm younger than the person. So it means the person is now old, he's now weak, a whole lot. Now go to Genesis 4 verse 3 and 5. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground. Verse 5. But for Cain and his offering, he said, verse 5. But for Cain and his offering, he had no regard. So Cain was very angry and his face fell. So we're saying that God disliked Cain's offering. Why? Because they were miserable and left over. So those of you, we are all aware that Cain was a farmer and then Abel was a shepherd. That's why we have firstborns, fat portions from Abel. So normally we are lied to, or we were lied to, that Cain offered rotten crops or foodstuffs to God. It is not true. Whoever is saying this is a liar. Bible should be studied, not read as a graphic or newspaper. It is not true. Even we can draw the inference from the verse 4. Abel, firstborns, fat portions. So mean that he had different categories of livestock, but he chose the firstborns, fat portions. That's what I'm saying. That if in case you're going to present even an orange to your pastor, your teacher, aren't you going to choose the bigger ones, those that are so desiring and appetizing? This wasn't what Cain did. He gave God the second. This is what you must know. Cain gave not the first to his Lord. That's why God had to reject, because Cain was ungrateful. God will reject your old age work for him as well. So you sit down somewhere as young, use your eyes to watch only TV, browsing, and then others. When you grow old, then you say, oh, this reminds me of my my youth age. What did you do? Oh, if not that we are in cold season and my rheumatism has come, how I would have climbed the mountains. What did you do when you were young? Now what are you doing? So in the olden, when you grow, you cannot come and then lie to me that they said when I was young. What did you do? Some are using their strength for womanizing in the church. Some are using their strength for womanizing in the church. Some are using their strength to go against the leadership. Some are using their strength to disrespect, defiant, recalcitrant, bold resistance to authority. That's what they are using their youth for. Bringing down the church. Upon all what we are doing, the church is still not progressing, rather retrogressing, because of some members who are wasting their youth in vain. Also, we have some members, it could be a man or a woman, who has reached the time of marriage. No husband is coming, and no wife is coming. And sometimes their parents will debate in the church that, of course, in my church, we are advised that you should marry from the church. And myself, there's no way I'm going to marry from outside. There's no way. I won't do it. Then I won't even marry. It is mandate that I must marry from my church. If I want my church, I won't even go to different congregation. I mean, the church has some branches at Fijai. No. I mean, where I specifically worship is where I must find my wife from, whether she's this or that. No, I must send my wife from my church. There's no way I'll go outside. But we are making reference to a parent of such victims. Normally, they debate that, but my daughter is due for marriage. and no man from the church has come to propose to her. So should she sit and commit adultery? Therefore, she can go outside and then marry. And who cares? And you, these parents, you are not even a Christian. You are being used by Satan as his mannequin. And what do you mean by no one is coming or no one has come to propose? So should she continue season? What do you mean by that? Do you force your parent to give you something by force? You are a parent. Can your child force you to give him or her money? You choose when to do it at your own free will. So God will answer the prayer when he wants to, and not when you want. You can't command God. He decides what to do. So it is your duty to stay and continuously pray until you get your wife or your husband to marry. And even there are some reasons why maybe the girl or the boy is not now married. One, even on the boy's part, he was a womanizer. And maybe he has slept with almost all the girls in the church. So they have known who he is. They have known his character. That he is a womanizer. So therefore, his victims are going to advise the new entrant that don't go near this brother or don't go near this brothers, because they're going to sleep with you, they will mock you, and they're not going to marry you. Yes. And if you are like that, you need a specialized prayers before God will forgive you. Now, on the part of the women, you went to the world and broke your virginity. When you were in school, when you were somewhere, maybe when you were learning work as an apprentice, you have broken your virginity. Your covenant with God has been broken forever and ever. There's no way you're going to get it back again until you die. And you think that God will really forgive you? That was your covenant. Remember that when Samson's hair was shaved, even though it grew, but not as the rasta as it used to be. So he lost his covenant with God. That so far as he remained to uncut his hair, then God will be with him. His hair was the strength and a covenant with God. Your virginity is a covenant with God. And this has been broken. You didn't think twice. You just went ahead based on your desire. Temporal desire. So you broke it. And now you're going to stand what you call test of time. How did you know? Now, no, I'll even ask first. Have you ever had some days, maybe 1 week, 1 day, or 3 days, to fast and pray solely to beg God that you broke your virginity? No, you have not. It has not even occurred to you once. And now, you want to cover up and then be married to a person. What do you mean by that? Why don't you go and marry from the boy that you slept with? Those that you have been dating. Why is it that they have refused to marry you? Why? That's my question. And when you were in the church, didn't you have the sense that in future I want to marry from the church? Your mind, due to pride and arrogance, worldly desires. I want a man with a car. I want a man who is this. I want a man who is that. This, and that. Therefore, you went to the world and sell your priority to them, to Satan. God does not want the second. That's why Cain's offering were rejected. So also you are being rejected by God. Your offering is not received. It's not acceptable because it is not the first, as we saw from Abel. Firstborns, fat portions. The first. Your first is your virginity. But you have given to the Satan or the world. And I'm saying that those who slept with you, they will go and then market you to their friends. So when it is time for you to marry, you see that it becomes very difficult. My friend, I'm saying that you need a serious fasting and prayers. Qualified apology. penitent apology. Even in our homes, when we offend our parent to the extreme, sometimes we have to go out there, call an elderly person to come and plead on our behalf. Why is it that you could not apologize to your parents? How much more God? And now you want to marry. I mean, you think marriage isn't easy. My friend, marriage is not easy for a man to work, raise about 100 million and over to go and then wed the woman within 4 hours. It is not easy to come by. Graduates are not being employed. It is not even easy to hire a room. Before you finish it, buy TV, buy fridge, and a whole lot. It is not easy. So nowadays, marriage is not easy to come by. So if you have offended God elsewhere, and now He's punishing you, don't sit somewhere and then accumulate yourself with some kind of superficial companions to encourage you that, oh, my friend, oh, I shunned them when they are, if the men are not coming, go out and marry. I'll go by, I mean, who cares? But we are here saying that there's always a danger marrying an unbeliever. There's always a danger. You saw with Samson, you saw with King Solomon. There is always a danger marrying an unbeliever. So your duty is to still sit and then be patient. You pray to God. Your man will come. Maybe a new person will be baptized into the church, and then he comes to marry you. You need a serious prayer. Otherwise, God will never forgive you. Remember, when Samson's hair was cut, the end was that he died. God killed him. Yes. No second chance was given to Samson. He was not given, no second chance in the Bible was given to Samson. It is a lie. That's why he lost his eyes. God had to kill him for disobedience to him. All right. I think that point is well understood. In fact, I always use Cain and Abel to officially highlight why some women in the church are still suffering to be married because of their one foolish past mistake. Precisely when they are dating, you will see a private car coming to alight them at the church premises. Even if you are caught elsewhere, no, pride. So the boy being so foolish will also have the authority to come and then alight this girl at the church's premise. All eyes are watching you. So in future, when this boy is done using you and then he goes away, all the boys have been notified by their parents. They have all been made known by their parents that this girl was dating this man. We used to see him coming to drop her. So they are cautioned. Now, let's go back to the Gold Coast. Even in Ghana, in the olden days, all the females must be virgins before they are married. So therefore, the husband is given a white cloth. It could be a handkerchief. So on the first day of their sex, the man must see blood. He wraps the cloth or the handkerchief and present to the elders as an evidence. Sorry, that my wife is indeed a virgin. So supposing that we are going back to the old system of marriage, who will marry you? That you must marry as a virgin. Who is going to marry you? Of course, if you were raped, that one is different. We are talking about a girl who foolishly went out and broke her virginity, minus thinking twice. And today, by force, he wants God to get a pastor or a man who is wealthy. You must bear the consequences of your own foolish choice. Back then, we are all bear. I, Joseph Atta, I bear the consequences of my own choice in life. There's no way I can dodge. So also you are. There's no way you can dodge it. We are all facing our own consequences in life. So if we're a man, I remember I had a friend who was going to marry, had a woman, I mean, there was even betrothed that they were going to marry. But this man was sleeping with girls behind the wife's back. I didn't know that The woman in question was his betrothed partner. Now, later they married. Not knowing, not knowing that the woman that he was betrothed to also gave birth when or during her second cycle days. So the child had grown somewhere 16 years. The man never knew. So you see the scenario. He was cheating on the wife to be married. But the wife had already given birth in his JHS days. That's why I'm saying that cheats are also cheated. If you cheat, you'll be cheated. He thought that he was smarter. But he got the result. And by force, you must take care of this child. Because if you love the wife, they must love the wife as well. I mean, stepchild, officially. How is she going to obey you? Because she's now gone. We don't know who trained her. So normally, sometimes they even bring some misunderstanding in the marriage. You must remember what you have done. So therefore, if I bear the consequences, no regrets. I am bearing the consequence of my own choices, and I have no regrets. Now, result of a miserable age. 1, abhorrence. Now, 1 Kings 1 verse 1 to 4. 1 Kings 1 verse 1 to 4. Now, I will even paraphrase it. It's a sermon, I'll paraphrase it. Now, King David was old and about to die. He was so aged, and I would say in a form of paralyzed. Had no feelings, so, and he was feeling so cold. So they had to roam the city. They found a woman called Abishag. Yeah, Shunammite. She was so beautiful. I said they roamed, so which means they were looking for the most beautiful. David loved women. He was a womanizer. You can imagine the insult. A king who is about to die. They wanted to recall something which could rekindle him. They had to go on for a woman. So this is even an insult. That, hey, Joseph, so at the end of my days, are they going to remember me in this same manner? At times, people will die, and you will find the youth smoking weed all over, drinking alcohol, in remembrance of what the disease did when alive. So they brought the woman called Abishag, of course, from Shunammite. So being the Shunammite, but she could, though she was beautiful, she was so beautiful. I mean, they chose her from the multitude. But David saw her so disgusting. So when we say abhorrence, we mean hate coupled with disgust. When we say disgust, it means so annoying. I mean, you don't. It is an eyesore. You don't even want to see it. A king who was womanizer. Remember, it was during his kingship that he went ahead and then raped Bathsheba. A king was supposed to lead the nation to a war. King Saul was always leading Israel to a war. Always. That's one thing I love about King Saul so much. The first king of Israel. He was always leading the Israel. In fact, to some point, they even went and meet Goliath. So upon his shout, then Saul had to run with his hand because Goliath was so huge than Saul. David was a lazy king. So he was walking on his roof. Therefore, Satan gave him work to do. He saw that Bathsheba was bathing. He sent for her and then forced her to commit adultery. Later, he killed the husband Uriah. And foolishly, later, he married Bathsheba. That was David's downfall. In case you don't know the Bible. All the calamities, which fell on David's household was as a result of his one foolish mistake by raping and killing the husband. And later, okay, if it was a mistake for raping her, of course, God killed that child. I mean, the rape child was killed. Why is it that he went ahead to marry the woman? It means it was planned and deliberate. So based on this, there was always death in his house. We have Joab killing Absalom. We have King Solomon killing Joab. A whole lot. And because of this, that's why he couldn't build the temple for God, because he has shed so many blood. So during his old age, they were trying to remind him of his past. That's why I'm saying that you are going to reap what you have sown. Miserable age. Now, why is it that David found Abishag so disgusting? Because he was old and miserable. His time of pleasure had passed. Time had taken him out. Nothing lasts forever. He was a womanizer, but now he was old. So old and miserable. So the girl was so beautiful. She was young, very beautiful. I mean to say that she was chosen among the whole community. So if today we can say a Ghana's most beautiful, she found her disgusting. B, of miserable age. Abdicate. Now, First Chronicles 23 verse 1. First Chronicles 23 verse 1. When David was old and full of days, he made Solomon his son king over Israel. Your time will pass. So those of you who are waiting to grow older, 90 years, 80 years, 70 years, before starting to study the Bible, by then your vision is impaired. So use your eyes now to watch TV. Your eyes. Some have eye problems, but they are still went ahead to buy lenses to study the Bible. You have no single eye problem. You have been wasting your eyes in vain, watching TV, browsing, a whole lot. You are always on TV, watching TV. At the end, you see that your vision becomes impaired. And don't stand anywhere to say that, if I am younger, I would have said the Bible. Or when I was younger, I used to say the Bible. My friend, you are not smarter than God. So David was about to die. He had to choose a successor. So here we're saying that Solomon became David's successor because he was at his miserable age. Miserable, old, and weak. Becoming inferior in competency, in quality, and inefficiency. Deterioration. Point C of miserable age, death. So 1 Kings 11 verse 43. 1 Kings 11 verse 43. We are now on Solomon. And Solomon slept with fathers and was buried in the city of David, his father. And Rehoboam, his son, reigned in his place. Nothing lasts forever. So we say that miserable age offers nothing but a state of liability. You become so liable that if you are a man, normally we the men, we marry a younger women. So maybe if you are 80, your wife is somewhere 65 or 70. You see that you need her to support you. She becomes your walking stick, or your child, or someone has to support you. You're not going to remain as you are forever. I sitting here now today teaching you. You give me 40 years time. I don't even know if I will live up to 40 years. I'm not sure I can come with the strength to teach. I mean, to study. Even the knowledge or the mind will shrink. So thinking is even diminished compared to the young. That's why I'm trying to remember my God now, before the miserable age comes. Now, not sit down so lazily, and in future I'll be bragging. Hey, I remember when I was young. What did you do when you were young? You were using your strength for humanizing. So give your first to the Lord. Give your first to the Lord. Now, a conclusion. Number 1, we must sacrifice in faith. Hebrews 11, verse 4. Hebrews 11, verse 4. Hebrews 11, verse 4. By faith, Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. By faith, Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by faith he being dead still speaks. Sacrifice in faith. We must sacrifice in faith. Now, this sacrifice is an act of offering to the divinity. That's why I say you must be a virgin until you marry. That means you're sacrificing in faith. Why am I saying this? I mean, self-control will be there because you are old and at least you feel to be loved and even have sex with someone. But because of faith that you have in God, you have to exercise self-control. Self-control. Because you are doing to the glory of the Lord. They will call you names. There's nowhere in the Bible, I think the Bible, there's no book in this life to attest that if you are a virgin, then you are stupid or you are a fool. It is not true. You must be warned that it is Satan using this phrase to lure you to break your virginity. The moment you break it, you have lost your faith in God. You have refused to sacrifice to the divinity. Why there are some of us have chosen to, refusing to drink, to party to others. Why? Because of my faith in God. And Satan cannot come and then entice me. I mean, who is he? I am saying that I don't drink. I don't party. Period. No one in this life, if he's Satan himself, there's no way, in what ways, that will he entice me to go out. That means you are a robot being controlled by a remote. I live and die for the Lord. Whether I am a toy, I am a fool, they will call you John. I remember in GSTS, there's a brother called Brother Francis. One day, he was giving a sermon, I think 4 years ago or more. Then he said that when you are with God, the people will call you John. Then he even said that that one is good. Because John was an apostle of Christ. I said, wow, this boy, you are very sensible. You can imagine somewhere around 18 years. See how he was thinking that when they call you John, it is good because John was an apostle of Christ. So when they call you John, because you have refused to have sex, because you have refused to do what they are doing, John was an apostle of Christ. Let them call you names. Later, when they come up to their senses, when they have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil, they will come to you. And of course, always have been coming to me. Oh, you will come. There's no way I will fall to a standard. You must rise to mine. Yes, because I am the light, you are darkness. And light has officially overtaken darkness. I don't conform. You must rise to mine. I will never fall to your category. We must sacrifice in faith. Maintain your virginity. You must maintain it. Because, in fact, even I believe that God listens to the prayers of virgins than non-virgins. Yes, I have this belief in me. And now I have 3 girls who are all virgins. And they are my friends. Always I've been advising and encouraging them that they must maintain it. Even if in future their husbands are not able to give them gifts to serve as an appreciation, God will reward them. That in this corrupt and decayed society, generation, you'll be married as a virgin. In fact, it is a plus. Your husband will respect you forever and ever. It even shows that you were not a prostitute. How will he know if you are not virgin? The quantity of men that you slept with. You see? Now, point 2. The youth must care for the things of the Lord. So 1 Corinthians 7 verse 34b. Initially, I began saying it. That if you are youth, then you care for the things of the Lord. Now here it's not about that if I'm married, so therefore don't do any God's work. It is a sin that because you are married, so therefore you're not going to work for the Lord. Oh, me, I've done my part when I was unmarried. My friend, you're going to sin. Youth here has no age limitation, has no barrier, whether you are married or single. So far as you have the strength to work for God, you are a youth. So stop this, your class one excuse that because I'm married, I'm to impress my husband. Who told you? Now, in the hierarchy, we have God, man, wife, and children. So your husband and God, whom are you obeying? Your wife and God, whom are you obeying? Even though it is in the Bible, but be reasonable. Otherwise, you can sin. Because you are married, you have stopped staying in the Bible. You don't even go out again to preach. Because you are married, so from church, then you go home. My friend, you are sinning. It is a sin. This is a sin where the preachers and pastors must teach their congregation that if you are married, that's what stop you from learning the Bible and teaching the Bible, going out there to visit or to evangelize. Now, point 3, resist the devil. 1 Peter 5 verse 8. And then James 4 verse 7. For that one I will not read because normally we all know it. Resist the devil and then he will flee from you. So James 4 verse 7. And then 1 Peter 5 verse 8 and 9. So 1 Peter 5 verse 8 and 9. Be sober, be vigilant. Your adversary, the devil, walks about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. But resist him, standing firm in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are experienced by your brethren who are in the world. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Ephesians 4, verse 27. So you can also read the same thing from James 4, verse 7. Ephesians 4, verse 27. Do not give opportunity to the devil. Resist the devil if you are youth. Point 4. Be a fool for Christ. 1 Corinthians 4 verse 10. Be a fool for Christ. We are fools for Christ's sake. We are fools for Christ's sake. Than Satan. Be a fool for Christ. 1 Corinthians 4 verse 10. Than Satan. 1 John 2 verse 5 and 16. By loving the world. Be a fool for Christ instead. Let the world be. Now point 5. Education without the Bible is useless. By a man called Noah Webster. Education without the Bible is useless. So we think that integrate God in your work, in your education, in your marriage, in everything for everlasting prosperities. Psalms 1 verse 2 and 3. Psalms 1 verse 2 and 3. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. Verse 3. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. In all that he does, he prospers. Education without the Bible is useless. Life without the Bible is useless. Marriage without the Bible is useless. Everything you do in this life minus the Bible is useless and will lead you nowhere. You have to, unless you integrate God, you have to integrate God. Now my last one, in Ephesians 5 verse 15 to 17, I love this quotation so much. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool. Verse 16. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. All these are caveats. So 15 is a warning, 16 is a warning. Those of you who have still refused to listen to the caveats. Then verse 17 saying that, therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. You being a parent who have advised your son or your child to make money so that when he is old or when she is old, she or he will not suffer in life, meaning after pension. You are an irresponsible parent that you have advised your ward to solely focus on money or making money as young, so that when he grows older, he has cars, he has lands, he has companies, so he just drives his car or his cars to go and then boss, then they are giving him funds. You are an irresponsible parent. It is even good that you didn't even give birth. Do you know when he will die? You the parent who's advising your son, do you know when he will even die? And those who came to make millions, where are they? Were they buried with their money? Could their money save them to heaven? God first. God first. So you should reverse it by giving him direction to study and then apply the Bible. This will make him true rich, divine rich, richness which goes with sympathy and empathy. Those who make money like that, they are so wicked. Sometimes they can't even go to withdraw money to buy food because they want to accumulate and then swim in wealth. They will swim in it as if they are in the lagoon or swimming pool. They are so wicked. Even if you want one cedi, they want you to work so hard before they give. They are so wicked. But when you follow God and then he blesses you, you are aware that you didn't merit it. So therefore, since he gave it to you freely, so you must also give. Now, having said that, I bring you to the end of the sermon. It is a sermon. Maybe some may find it to be a teaching, but it is a sermon. Tomorrow, God's willing, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., I'll come your way with searching for the godly partner. Now I am on vacation. That's why I have time with you even during the weekdays. But officially, I'm supposed to be teaching you, be with you from Friday to Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you for your time. Until then, see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.